Can you just briefly introduce yourself, just your name and where you are and which organisation you're with?
I'm Richard Sherley. I'm a lecturer at the University of Exeter, down in the Cornwall campus. So I'm sitting in what actually looks like a reasonably sunny Falmouth today.
I'm Sion Roberts. I work for the Crown Estate as a marine consents manager. Um, Office is based up in London, which is where I'm sat today. However, majority of my time is actually spent in the same county as Richard, down in Cornwall, just outside Manchester.
So the first thing I wanted to ask is about where the idea came from for this project.
Yeah, so it's really Kat Horswell's idea. She approached me and Stu Beerhop, who's the second Exeter supervisor. Stu and I have been trying to work with engineers and get some funding to try to look at how we might better design wind farms rather than just trying to do the usual sort of thing whereby people want to put a wind farm in and then the NGOs or ecologists come and say, oh, you can't put it there because there's a seabird colony and the seabirds will all crash into it. So we've been trying for a while to think about ways in which we could do a sort of better job of working with wind farm designers.
Tell me about the team, how you all came together and what your different expertise is.
I've had a few conversations with Kat over probably the past year and a half or so around kittiwake, particularly looking at things like artificial nesting structures and the effectiveness of these structures. Are they in the right place? How do we know if they're in the right place in order to kind of assure the environmental resilience of kittiwake as a species?
It's a critical real world project that's at the core of this PhD proposal. And that's a new thing with these PhDs, in a sense that they're really responding to a need in the real world that the PhD researcher is going to be tackling. So are there other partners that you have?
Yes, we've got Simon Neal, who's a professor at Bangor, Bangor University, who's from the oceanography department there. So he's sort of an expert in some ocean modelling processes, and he's also going to be guiding our climate change projection scenarios in the project. And then we've got Stu Beerhop, who's the second supervisor at Exeter. So Stu's a professor of animal ecology and a kind of an expert in animal movement and behaviour. And then we've got a postdoc, Alice Travail, working with us as well on the project. And Alice undertook her PhD on kittiwake movement herself. So she's got kind of real world in the field experience with kittiwakes.
What's the kind of skill set that you're looking for? What kind of person should apply?
It's a desk-based project. So it's going to be quite heavily analytical, I think. And the student has opportunity to learn quite a lot of different skills. So they'll be learning about how to model animal movement and habitat selection. And also they should have opportunity to work with Crown Estate on understanding like how impacts of wind farms are assessed and how that information is fed into policy. So I think they've got quite a lot of opportunities to learn different skills, but there'll be some quite heavy modelling elements and then the climate modelling projections as well.
One point I'd add is that the Crown Estate really welcomes the CDT's commitment to diversity, equity and inclusion. So yeah, really keen to encourage applicants from a really diverse applicant pool.
This person is going to have great opportunities, I imagine, career-wise.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I maybe see 5 or 6 job adverts a week at the moment for people looking specifically at this topic, and Orsted have got a team of 10 looking at this issue, and other developers aren't going to be far behind.
It sounds a fantastic opportunity. Could you tell me what you think the first year would look like for the postgraduate researcher?
The first year is probably going to be based around literature review and then working on the movement data sets. So we kind of anticipate an analysis and perhaps a peer-reviewed paper coming out of that.
We'll be really keen in that first year to make sure that the appropriate links are made between all of the different actors working in this space to develop that real understanding of all of the variety of activity, the variety of people, and so that there's a really good awareness in the student of what resources they can call upon and who they can link into for support.
The key thing with the PhD project is that there's a framework at the beginning, but the student has that capacity to take ownership of it and decide which things they find the most important.
Great. And presumably they should potential applicants who have questions, it would be wise for them to contact you to make sure they do the best application they can and make sure that it's the right fit for them.
Yeah, absolutely.